Okay, so not that long ago, I did a video on Jesse Ridgway, as everyone knows him, McJuggerNuggets, about his breakup and his side of what it was like for him. And I didn't think I was actually going to make another video, really didn't. But somebody in the comment section, wrote a comment saying that Ashley May has a YouTube channel. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let me check this out. And first of all, if you didn't watch the first part of the video, the Jesse one, please watch it. But when I got a chance to watch this video of Ashley May, response video to Jesse as far as her side of the breakup. Wow. Now, here's the thing, I'm doing my best to not sit there and try to take sides. Because at the end of the day, I have to sit there and look at Jesse and anyone that's associated with him, to some extent, as somewhat of a liar. Or a lie about association. Period. So she did this video. 28-minute video, and she has a couple of talking points that really just stuck out to me. Before we get started, just remember one word: choice. We all have them. We all have choices. And the reason why I'm sitting there bringing up that as far as just a thing, because this woman just goes down a checklist of stuff, and I'm sitting there thinking, choice. Pretty sure you had a choice, and this, that, and the third. So, okay. So originally, I guess she was, her dream was to become a teacher. And when she got involved with Jesse, she pretty much decided that, you know what, she's just going to be Jesse's girlfriend and just, be a YouTuber. She regretted that, and she resented him. Now, my whole thing about that is that it was a choice. Why does she feel so desperate? She's been working towards being a teacher for a long time, went to college and everything like that, graduated, and then for whatever odd reason, she just decided, hey, you know what, I'm going to throw all my hopes and dreams away to be with Jesse Ridgway. How the fuck does that make any sense? That was a choice, and she resented him for it, and I'm like, well, that's not really fair. I mean, yeah, you could sit there and say that Jesse was kind of a dick for, allowing his girlfriend to choose him over her career, and it's by that extent, you could sit there and argue, did he really love her? But again, it takes two to tango, and yeah, that was a choice. She talks about how she had to get rid of her friends because, I don't know, they were a bad influence, or he didn't really want her to have her own friends. He wanted her to have, just to be with his friends. So a lot of the friends that she had, she lost. And she talks about how she only practically has one friend. But I'm sitting there thinking, if you chose to ditch your friends that easily, was you ever really their friend? Like, seriously, was you ever really their friend? When you gotta sit there and choose your man or a girl over your friends that you grew up with, then you weren't really their friends, and you were a shitty friend just in general. So again, she chose that. Okay, so she talks about Jesse as far as just being a workaholic. 24/7, YouTube, this is his thing, this is what he does, and he just can't turn it off. He can't turn off the camera. And again, I'm just like, you weren't obligated to stay with him. Like, you knew, I mean, seriously, even if you didn't know about him in the beginning, you could have did your Googles when you knew about him. Once you met him, you knew he had a channel, all you had to do was sit there and watch a couple of videos to sit there and see what kind of person he was. And after a while, to sit there and say, well, I just stayed with him anyway, even though he couldn't turn off what he was doing. She talks about these cruises and all these different things that she's been, like Disney World and these cruises and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, here's the thing, and I don't mean to sound like a dick, but hold on a second. You are that miserable and that uncomfortable, but yet you chose to stay to go to the cruises. All the stuff that he wanted to do as far as taking you, places and stuff like that. You seem like you had no problem doing that, but it's like, are you serious? Or you want to sit there and complain that he didn't turn off his brain and it was you two 24/7, but yet you had no problem sitting there going on his cruises and stuff like that. As far as he was sitting there spending money on you and stuff like that, you didn't have a problem with that. It just like, and to sit there and say that she had to sit there and pretend to be like the gold digger or whatever, she had to play the part and stuff. You didn't have to do anything. I don't really. Her video is about trying to sit there and set the record straight and stuff. But here's the thing about a breakup. Two people are involved in that breakup. Whatever it was that caused it, it happened on both sides. So to sit there and hear her for 30 minutes, sit there and say he did this and he did that and he did this and he did that, and you don't own up to any one of your mistakes. I mean, hell, we weren't with you 24/7, so we don't know if you did something to piss him off, if you did something to cross the line, or whatever it is. But the fact that she doesn't take ownership for any of it, even if she was just a victim or whatever, you had a choice to walk away. And she never says that once in her video. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? She also talks about how she had a problem with Swift coming to the house. Here's the thing. It's not your house. Like, Cynthia saying, well, it was a decision that we should have made together. Yeah, in theory. But you know what? You're not paying rent. You don't own half of the house. So you don't sit there and get to decide and dictate who comes in that house or not. I don't understand where she has the idea that, oh, I can't be myself because, there's total strangers and, is in the house. You didn't know his family since birth, and technically they're total strangers. So to sit there and say you couldn't be yourself, it's fucking ridiculous. And by the way, I gotta sit there and say, I think she only, it's amazing how many fucking subs she has. For somebody to sit there and says that she doesn't want to be, she didn't really want to do the YouTube stuff, this, that, and the third. She got a shitload of fucking subs. And I'm gonna kind of skip around a little bit, but she also talks about how she never wanted to be like a YouTuber and stuff like that. She was a shy person. She didn't really want her opinion to be made and her opinion to be known, and she was afraid to speak her mind. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, let me get this straight. So you're afraid to be a YouTuber, but you're not afraid to be a teacher. The fact that she said she was afraid of public speaking, I was like, whoa, red flag. You have to sit there and shape the minds of these young kids every day. And depending on what you teach them and the morals and stuff like that, whatever you're doing is going to affect them moving forward. So to sit there and say that she felt like pressured and stuff like that of being like a YouTuber and she never really wanted to do it and she was always afraid of that. So you're afraid to sit there and talk on camera with a bunch of strangers, but you're not afraid of talking with people that you have to see practically every day for like a good year or something? Come on, seriously? I just... Now she talks about this thing with Lance and how weird he is with Lance and this, that, and the third. Here's the thing. With these Jesse and Lance videos, this isn't the first time that he's just been weird. I'm pretty sure he might have met him before he met Ashley, and he was weird fucking then. I don't understand if you're dating somebody who is a YouTuber, is a celebrity or whatever, like, you have the best fucking background check you can possibly fucking get. Just type in fucking Jesse Ridgway and you see it. She talks about how she felt like she hated her job on YouTube and that she really didn't have a lot of control, like freedom control or whatever. It's not your channel. It's not your channel. And at best, you know what? Yeah, he's acting like a dick. but you still have a choice. You don't like the way something is being done, you fucking leave. You know, she was so afraid of losing Jesse. And I'm sitting there thinking, I don't understand. Listen, I don't know this guy one way or the other. I don't know what he's like in real life. But she makes it seem like he is the most selfish, self-centered person. And he only cares about YouTube. And YouTube is first, his family, his girlfriend, and everyone else is second. And if that's the case, why the fuck was you with him for? You know? I guess sometimes you can be with somebody and they can show you their true colors later on. But at some point in time, like, you know, the fact that she says she had a lot of fights with him on Twitch and stuff, I'm sitting there thinking, I mean, red fucking flag. At what point do you decide to leave? Like, you know, when a relationship stops being fun and interesting and it just becomes, like, problematic and you're constantly arguing and shit like that, at what point do you sit there and say, maybe I should leave? And it's not like she's some sort of teenage girl or some shit like that where it's like, I can understand she's a little naive. She's a grown-ass woman. And she made a 30-minute video about her complaint. And you know what this all stemmed from? This all stemmed from the fact that Jessie made a video, a 12-minute video, and she said that he was very cold and it didn't really give her side. Well, of course he's not going to give your side of it because he's talking about his side of it. And what do you expect him to sit there and do? Cry and be all emotional on camera and stuff like that? Would that make you feel better? Would that make you feel more validated if he was sitting there crying and being all sober and just, I'm so depressed? Like, would that make you feel better? Would that stroke your ego? Like, I mean, come on, seriously? The fact that she came out her mouth and said that, and I know this video is turning into, defending Jesse and stuff like that. But I just don't like when somebody gets on camera and they just start blaming someone, you know? Listen, Jesse isn't exactly, like, I'm not exactly Jesse's biggest fan because I feel like he lies to a lot of his subscribers and stuff like that he has, and everything that comes out of his mouth is generally a lie. You can never tell when this guy is being serious about anything. And the fact that he had so much of a big ego trip that he felt that he could just leave YouTube and go to Storyfire and just have all his friends, all his subscribers follow him. And then when they didn't, he sat there and bitched and complained like it was their fault that he's not being successful. So no, in a lot of ways, I do not like Jesse Ridgway. I don't hate the guy, but I don't think that I don't think he's a good person. He reminds me a lot of I'm Jay Station. If I actually sat there and did a deep dive, you can find the people that he was close with that probably don't fuck with him anymore. Because when it really comes down to it, is Jesse and Jay have the same mind frame. Jay Station has the same mind frame. Straight to the top, YouTube, anything else is secondary. So yeah, I'm not exactly a biggest fan of Jesse Ridgway, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna stand there and watch this girl for 30 minutes and talk about he did this, he did that, and he's a very selfish person and very self-centered. And I'm just like, sweetheart, you had a choice. You had a fucking choice. You knew exactly what this guy was like. Even if we can somehow believe that we didn't know, let's just say, take for a grain of salt, for sake of argument, that she didn't really know that much about him. Okay, fine. Whatever. But after you got to know him, not the stuff on camera, not from other people, not from other accounts, the stuff that you got to know him, knowing that he was a selfish person, knowing that you had to do quote-unquote everything for him as far as cook, clean, take care of the dogs, this, that, and the third. And she was really pissy about the dog comment. At what point do you sit there and say that you had enough? You know? Like, was he really worth... You know, because this is where we get into the argument of, was he really worth all that trouble and energy? You know, because a lot of people can sit there and look at this and be like, you know what, listen, you only used him until you got what you wanted, until you got to that point of YouTube perfection where people know who you are, and then you're like, you know what, I don't need him anymore. Because what fucking person in their right mind is going to choose to be with a guy who is selfish, self-centered, acts like a jackass, ignores you, treats you like a fucking slave pretty much, and just kind of paints you in a bad light in a lot of his videos. There's one video where Jesse puts out, "Is she using me for views?" You know, he did a lot of clickbait stuff, and that was one of them. And of course, I clicked on it because, you know, why not? And I sat there and thought, you know what, this guy is using you as clickbait. And you even said her, you know, she even said herself that, you know, I'm being portrayed as the gold digger. Why the fuck would you want to do that? You know? And she also talks about how it may impact her as far as, like, you know, being like how any other job would sit there and look at her, you know, after this. And I'm like, well, bitch, that's the chance that you take when you decide to sit there and be on camera. Like, you had a choice to make. And she always had choices to make. And for her to sit there and be like, well, you know, he made me do this and he made me do that. And I mean, I'm kind of glossing over it, but it's just so fucking dumb to sit there. And it's so selfish and it's so immature to sit there and try to play the blame game. You know, I lost my friends because of you. I lost my career because of you. No, sweetheart, you lost your career. You lost your friends. You lost your career because of you. Because of the shitty, bad fucking choice that you made. You're probably a bad fucking friend. And now she actually put out a video about meet my new girlfriend. And I'm sitting there thinking, you know what? I didn't watch the video yet, but just by the title, I'm like, wow. So let me get this straight. The breakup wasn't even that long ago. And I'm not saying you're supposed to kind of sit on it and wait or whatever, but it was like, now that you got to this platform, now you got to this, you know, 30-something K subscribers or whatever, now it's all like, oh, I got a girlfriend, and, you know, like, life is good. And I'm like, amazing how fast you just fucking moved on. And now she talked about how she wasn't comfortable with YouTube and stuff like that. She seemed pretty comfortable talking for 30 minutes. She seemed pretty comfortable sitting there with her girlfriend. Amazing how that fucking works when you get when you get some clout and you get some money. Then all of a sudden you got total fucking confidence. You can take on the damn world. I watched the video a little bit last night, and then I watched it this morning, and I was talking to my friend, and I was like, you know what, I really couldn't talk about it too much, because I just wanted to get it all out in the open. Just right fucking here, because this is just I just had to get it all out. I didn't actually think I was going to be sitting there making a video. Sorry if this video was so long, but she says she may make another video down the line or whatever, and I might sit there and talk about it. I might not. I don't know. I didn't think I was actually going to be talking about another Jesse Ridgway video, but anyway, you know, with that being said, I want to thank the person who told me about her channel, because wow. And let me know your comments, and you know, let me know what you sit there and think about this whole thing. I know, because Jessie has a lot of young and impressionable kids. They're going to be, you know, spamming her fucking comments. They're going to be sitting there talking about she's a gold digger, this, that, and the third. And I won't sit there and say one way or the other if she's a gold digger or not. But what I will sit there and say is that she comes across as very immature. She doesn't seem like she takes responsibility for the things that has occurred in her life. And, you know, being a teacher, you kind of have to be a good role model. And I don't understand how, with that type of attitude, that type of mindset, she wants to sit there and be molding impressionable young fucking kids, where she's a grown-ass woman that seems like she doesn't take responsibility for her own actions. She constantly sits there and plays the victim, and, you know, she never bothers to sit there and take control of her own life. It's like somebody tells you to do something, she just does it. And she's supposed to be a teacher, supposed to be sitting there shaping the fucking mind of these fucking young kids. Are you kidding me? So, I mean, anyway, again, with that being said, let me know what you think it is. Are you on the side? Are you on Jesse's side? Are you on neither? Do you think they're both a bunch of fucking liars? Do you think they're a bunch of clout chasers? I mean, if you draw comparisons to Jesse and Ashley, and let's say Jay Station and Alexis Morano, or whatever the fuck her name is, they are fucking striking. which, by the way, I do want to do a video eventually on Alexia, whatever the hell her last name is. Because I got some issues with that chick also. But let me know what you think in the comment section. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. I will catch you in the next video.